I'm Marian Brandon, and I am a stranded colorwork designer here in the today snowy mountains of North Carolina. Snow's coming down even as I look out the window. It's still coming down. We're only supposed to get about an inch, but it's fun. It doesn't hurt the driving, and it's fun to look at, so it's good. Today it's either the first of a series on talk about design, or it's another chat session. But we're going to talk about design, or at least a design. What I've got here is one you may have seen me kind of working on. I've gotten a lot more of it done. This doesn't have a name yet. I think it's going to be a shawl like Familiars here. And I don't know. I've definitely a cardigan, I think, because I need a cardigan. So, but what I want to talk about, this is a swatch. This is not part of the sweater itself. This is just a swatch because I was just trying colors and seeing how it was going to work out. So what I did, and you probably saw from the opening, what I'm going to do is, what I did was spread it out onto a board and look at the different elements of it and sort of my thought processes. Not that I'm the best, but you can at least see my thought processes on how different elements I think are working together. So why don't we take a look at that now?
All right, as I said, this doesn't even have a title yet, but I thought what we do is look at some of the things I thought of making this design. These are older patterns coming from a whole bunch of different historical sources, and some of them traditional, some of them just older sources from the 16th, 17th, 18th century kind of thing, reinterpreted for knitting and for the gauge I was working on. So let's just put it that way. I have here a lovely chopstick that I sometimes use some hair, but anyways, just as a pointer. I should have used a knitting needle, but I can't. My DPNs are somewhere. I don't know where they are. But anyway, what I started with was, and what I was trying to do here is that there's a medium-sized, I don't know if this is working, but a medium-sized panel here. There is another sort of larger kind of midland size, then the tiny little Piri pattern there, then there's this large pattern that has the gradations from the dark green to the medium green to the sort of the yellowy, green. And I just couldn't resist. I just love those little red. I've loved these knots. I use that in the Branch and Vine coat, but I just love these little knot things. But there's that, and this I just loved. This, I thought, the dark and the light, there was too much contrast there. It looked kind of stripey. And so I wasn't sure about that. This was a dark purple that I was going to put in the background of the pattern that's further up this way, which we'll look at in just a minute. So, but once I got this together, it was like, oh my gosh, I love that. So that was just the coloring of that worked out nicely. So then I decided, let me tilt up just a little bit. There we go. Then I decided that I wanted to try to redo this coloring so it wasn't so harsh. And there is a dark, a medium, and a light of this sort of rust color. So this is the dark and the light. So I ended up doing the medium and the light up here, the medium and the light up here. And there's just not enough contrast there. That looks very flat to me. So, and of course you see I've got the yellow that's in here now against the blue. And you have the knots, which I just have a tendency to, when I wear something like this, I sit there and do like this to the knots the entire time, which is not fun. But anyway, something to do. I then got up to here, repeating the one from down here, got up to this end and started on figuring, by the time this came up again, which is on the other side of this big panel here, that I would try to do the light and the medium instead of the dark and the medium. And see, this is the dark and the light. This is the medium and the light. So I'm thinking I'm going to do the dark and the medium. So I'd hopefully get the contrast, but it won't be quite as stark as that. So then we moved into here. I had, I must have done this panel, I don't know how many times. I had it with red dots, red knots. I had it with all sorts of things. And I had a bluer green here and a darker purple. This is a darker purple, clearer purple. This is a more grayed purple up in there. So with the blue-green of this here, it was almost the same color as this one. So I was kind of losing it there. I'm not sure this is helping any. I was kind of losing it maybe it does. Oh, sorry. Started moving, kind of losing this color combination. And finally, I tried it different ways. I tried the lighter purple. I tried with the bluer green. I tried, these weren't showing up at all. I guess the darker purple wasn't showing up at all. I tried to do those in pearl stitches to give them a little texture. That wasn't working. So finally, I just gave in and went and reused the same color yarn again. Now this is the dark and the medium and not this yellowy color. So this one I used all three and have the really bright in the middle. This one just has 2 shades of that. But then I also threw in, this is a bluer red, sort of more of a berry red. It's called cranberry berry red. This is more of a brown red. I don't think there's that big a difference. So when I do this for real, and this is a swatch, as I said, when I do this for real, I'll do these in this color, and it's not going to make that big a difference. Okay, so let me tilt up again. Let's look at this big panel. So this big panel has like a little, there's one grape right there, and this is the total repeat from there to there. So this little grape that's sitting right there actually will be right here if this was, repeated. But then it gets light in the middle in here, and that's when I went to the red for these grapes, these bunches of grapes here and here. And then this looked really flat. It looked two-dimensional. I was not happy with it at all. I tried doing this in red for the vine part and orange because it's right next to this, for the orange for the knots. And then it looked comical. It just was not working. I almost went back to, this is the medium green, not all the way to the yellow, because the yellow is down here. I thought maybe I'll do the vine in the dark green and the knots in the lighter green like this, and then it was tying closer to this one and this one, then this panel didn't tie in. So what I ended up doing, if you can see up here, what I ended up doing was doing the vines. Let's see if I can make that closer. Hold on. The world is shifting here. Take the pins out of the way. You can kind of see it this way. The vines I now did in the sort of the second tone of green, and then the knots are in orange, and you can see right here another panel like this one here is starting. So I'm going to make sure I've got the contrast there of the orange, so that the green ties to this panel and the orange ties to the panel that's going to be up here. So when I do it for real, this coloring will be used for here so that it'll tie into that. So then the orange will feel like it's part of the whole. So there you go. That's the thought process on that. What I have not done yet is, I know this is one repeat. I forget how many stitches that is. This panel does not fit evenly into this stitch count. So, but it's going to be so simple to figure that out. I can make that one work. This fits into this stitch count without any problem, as does this. So the only one I have to worry about is the one that's been giving me a pain the entire time, is this one right here. And but I think I could make it work, even if I add, if say it's a multiple of what is that, a multiple of? Probably 12 stitches, and this is not. So this will be whatever multiple of 12. So 3, 6, 9. Maybe 10. That may be a multiple of 10, come to think of it. So 1, yeah, it may be a multiple of 10. So whatever this is, and say that this is, I forget what this multiple is. 20. Oh no, because it goes, yeah. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. It's probably a multiple of 60 something. So then therefore I will have 6 of these, and then I can do some sort of little special stitch at the beginning and the end. If it turns into a shawl, then that'll be the, at each end of the shawl, of the width, because the shawl will build this way. This will be the length of the shawl, and this will be the width of the shawl, like that. If it's a cardigan, or when it's a cardigan, then those little extra stitches will be in the front where it opens, so that I can, make that little, so it'll be sort of little special sizing stitches then the pattern, and then more little special sizing stitches, is what I'm trying to say. This one is just a matter of whether, if you think of this as a knot, is a matter of sliding these knots up and down. I can just adjust these stitches in between to whatever I need for them to be. This one is already worked. I specifically designed the two of these so that they would be the same. The stitch repeat will be the same. They fit together. So
what do you think? What's the name? I haven't decided. It's, I just don't know. Something tells me I should probably name it after some vineyard or something, because or something like that, because they're the grapes, and I'm not sure what these things are except for little colors. And what I forgot to mention in that video is that I think I need more of the blue dots kind of in sort of somewhere in this area. They seem to all be on this side. I need to have some more kind of over here. So I'll take a look at where those should be placed, kind of right in there, right over someplace where there's a lot of dark. Maybe over here, like that little finger pointing. Anyway, so I don't know what it's going to be called yet. I haven't even started. I've got another one I got to do that is going to be just a panel for the church. So I've got to do that. I'll let you see how. I'll show you how that's coming along. I've got it on the chart. I've got it charted. I'm still pulling colors for it, so we'll just see how that works. But anyway, so that's it. The great unnamed swatch that will be a shawl pretty much like this one, I think. I think that's where we're going with that. So, and a cardigan. And probably not a fitted sleeve, set-in sleeve cardigan, because I really kind of like the way sleeves for drop shoulders. Now, I'm not talking about a true drop shoulder, but a modified drop that has this pattern going all the way around the arm like that, instead of being cut off into the top of it. Now I threw it on the floor, sorry. Instead of being cut off in the top of a set-in, I really like that sort of the band of color around the arm. I just think that's good. And I don't want the shoulder seam down here. The shoulder seam will be up here, kind of thing. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're interested in more of this kind of thing, I do stranded color work all the time. So that's all I do. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining me. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.